26th of September, 2025. And I've been up for hours again. I was sent another video last night by someone on X. It was a very compelling video. I looked through it all. Actually, no, not through it all. That's a lie. I looked through 3/4 of the video so far, but it took me a while because I have to stop and then do research, stop, and then assess things. And so I'm going to share a video. And this is not me trying to call anyone out. So RangeDayBro, I'm going to share his video. And he also shares Valhalla clips as well. And so these two accounts, the only reason why I'm sharing these videos is not to call anyone out or say that they're right or they're wrong and I'm right and they don't know what they're talking about. None of that stuff at all. They seem very informed. They're both just trying to share the truth and what they perceive the truth to be. And they are doing their due diligence and like looking at videos and stuff like that. Are we coming up with the same conclusions? No, we're not, which is fine, right? Like, again, like we can only go off of the information that has been provided or that we can find, and then base our observations or assessments on our own personal experiences or sharing the videos with people that are considered to be like experts and seeing what they think. And so, like I said, I've talked with a few people, and I also have a background with firearms, like basically since friggin' out of the womb. and so, yeah, I just wanted to not correct a few things. I'm just going to give my my assessment. And again, if there's ever any new information that comes out that completely destroys my arguments, I will gladly take them. I just want the truth. I don't care right or wrong or anything like that. I just want the truth. And so, yeah, if anyone has any proof, actual proof that makes it seem like it's not what I think it to be, then again, keep sharing these videos with me. And so this guy seems like a nice guy. He seems checked out. I don't know if he's a veteran or not. Likely is. Maybe. Anyways, he has a lot of firearms behind him. So again, this guy has experience with weapons as well. So I'm not trying to discredit him at all. He seems like a nice guy. He seems checked out. And we're coming up with different conclusions or assessments on this particular case. And I'll reiterate, I could be wrong, but I give strong arguments as to why I'm coming to the conclusions I'm coming at. And so,
back to the channel for another Real Talk episode. It brings me no pleasure today to continue the discussion of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Obviously a horrific and tragic event. And the last video I put out on this attracted a whole hell of a lot more of attention than I ever expected. So thank you to every single one of you guys who liked and commented and shared that video. At the time when I put it out, I was 100% convinced of certain things, that we may have new evidence contradicting directly. Actually, we do have new evidence directly contradicting one of the main claims in that video. I don't think it absolutely negates all the other claims, but we're going to go through that and discuss it today and show you guys exactly what the counterpoints were to my argument. And I really don't even want to call it my argument. It's just a theory. I'm not married to any one theory, guys. I'm out here trying to discover the truth just like all of you are. And if I am wrong in that theory, in that video that I put out, I will be more than willing to admit that I'm wrong and show the evidence and the proof that I was incorrect and set the record straight. So today we're going to talk about it. Again, I don't think this evidence disproves that theory of Charlie getting shot from his back right completely, but it does disprove one part of it, I believe, which is the blood splatter that I believed I was seeing. Turns out it's most likely Charlie's necklace. And let's just go ahead and show you guys the footage.
Like I said, necklace. Look at my videos from even friggin' last week and stuff like that. Like, and so this is what I mean. Like, I'm coming upon information earlier than other people that are doing the same assessments as me. So again, I just have the tactical advantage of getting access to information before these guys do. So again, it's not a slam on him at all.
Here. So Jesse on Fire he showed my video, the one that you guys have all seen by now. And he is showing this new camera angle. Again, I saw this camera angle, but it was much more blurry when I saw it. And I wasn't 100% sold on it at the time. People were saying it was an earpiece, but I had seen multiple other videos. Let me show you guys that first, because I don't know what this guy's name is, but I'll put it in the description below. But he is talking. He has a very good analysis. And I watched this after I posted my video, to be very clear. I had never seen this angle before, or this hypothesis of the earpiece. But after I posted the video, I watched this video where he goes through and talks about how he does not see any earpiece on Charlie Kirk. And I concur. I agree with him in his analysis, because you could see it on a security guard, you can see it on a security team, but you cannot see it on Charlie himself. As you can see right here, he points out that a security team is wearing an earpiece, and you'd be able to clearly see it from this angle. Maybe not from the front or even from the side as much, but from the back here, you'd be able to clearly see the earpiece. And he does show, you can see again here, he's showing a very clear angle. There is no earpiece. So without dragging this issue out any further and alluding to an earpiece and there being an earpiece or not being, there was not an earpiece. It's been confirmed by Candace Owens, and she confirmed he was also not wearing body armor. So those are two facts, if you want to call them that. She was told directly by TPUSA or by Eric, I can't remember, by trusted sources.
There was trusted sources as well. Again, within the first few days, we were figuring that out. And then also looking at the footage frame by frame, making assessments on like his chest, the shirt. If you could see things like nipple or no nipple, protrusions within the t-shirt and stuff like that. At first, I possibly thought he could have been wearing body armor, just because of the shirt, like how it moved up. But again, I'll reiterate, things like the necklace is what did a lot of the movement that I was questioning at first, and then the necklace, yeah, with the anyway.
Versus that he was not wearing an earpiece and he was not wearing body armor. So if you believe that, I clearly don't see an earpiece, so that's very simple and easy for me to believe that. So most likely what we see blow off, and what I was thinking and what I was calling blood splatter from the back right side of Charlie's head, is most likely his necklace. And it looks and seems to me that it has broken apart. Frame right here. Let's let this skip ahead a little bit, and you'll see. There it is. You can see it's broken apart. So I paused it perfectly here where you can see his chain clearly snaps off down here in the front. So it lifts his shirt up in the front and lifts his shirt up in the back. It snaps and it comes up and it looks like an earpiece because of that angle on it. Also, this would correspond with the video footage that I showed as the blood splatter, because you can see how it's bent that way, and it could be bent down and then it would be bent up here in just a second. Obviously, it's going too fast for this video, this camera angle to catch it. And then it continues on back and you can see it back be bent down and then it would be bent up.
So he also, people are alleging, like Stu Peters are alleging, that this guy, I don't know if you can see my mouse scrolling over this guy with the glasses and the khaki/tan shirt, and he's adjusting his sleeve and he's smiling, and this guy's anyways. And so like people were alleging, including Stu Peters, but again, he's not a veteran. Anyways, respectfully speaking, and it doesn't mean you have to be a veteran in order to make assessments. So I'm going to take that back. I'm going to walk that back. I just got a little shady. Sorry, Stu Peters. I don't hate you at all. I'm just frustrated because you have such a friggin' large platform and you're not helping actually get real information out. And yeah, so I don't think that this guy had some kind of like a detonation device. I don't think this guy right here, either one of these guys, the guy in the white hat or the guy in the glasses, I don't think that they triggered any type of mic exploding device. I showed you that even after Stu Peters showed, oh yeah, the mic exploded or something came out of it. There was no proof of that. And the mic was still intact after the shot. And so my suggestion to people is, and again, I've said this a few years ago, maybe I need to reiterate it more, is when you're looking at video, like mute it first. Put it on slow-mo first if you're trying to make assessments, and then come to your own conclusions. And then after that, after a little while of doing that, then add in the sound, and then further again, frame by frame, whatever you want to call it, like listen and look at so many different factors, and not just one person. Like look at the reaction of everyone.
Up here in just a second. Obviously, it's going too fast for this video, this camera angle to catch it. And then it continues on back, and you can see it back here again. This line right here across this gentleman's shirt, you can very clearly see a wire, which people were assuming was the earpiece, but it's very clearly his necklace. So was it the shock wave of Charlie's neck being hit either from the front or his neck and head being hit from the back that simply lifted up the shirt in the back? Or was it the chain? I would say it's probably the chain based off of what we saw in the front, which is very clearly his chain breaking and lifting up his shirt. So I think it's more likely that puff in the back that Jesse's attributing to the like inertia from the bullet hitting him in the neck, like pushing his back, like the back of his shirt out, just doesn't make any sense, because the bullet, according to the official narrative, does not have an exit wound. It was found directly under his skin, which is another thing we need to discuss. The Man of Steel theory.
Yeah, the Man of Steel theory, like the bullet like directly into the skin. I don't know about that. Like I do think that it possibly again like hit the vertebrae, went down. There might have been some fragmentation and then like movement and remained in the body, because there is no exit wound that we have seen so far. And so again, this is something that could have protruded. Like anyways, they have the bullets, even the ones that were not spent, and with the fired round, empty casing still in the chamber, and then 3 additional bullets that were going to be used, and I think that were obviously soft point. Where was I going with that? Because he was talking about Candace Owens and others. Anyway.
Which is like gaslighting at its finest. But I just don't see that puff as being attributed to confirming that the shot was from the front. I just don't see the logic in that, right? We're not really trying to stretch the imagination. That's what the official narrative is doing. I'm trying to explain it in the simplest terms. Occam's razor, what is most likely to have caused this injury in the way that we saw it? And that in the front seemed to me to be pretty definitively an exit wound. But we're going to talk about all of the evidence for and against the original theory, right? Because the original theory was that we saw that gush of blood out the back right side of Charlie's head. Now we can see that that's not blood. In fact, that's his necklace. So we're kind of back to square one. We don't have any like 100% smoking gun proof at this point because that's confirmed to not be a blood splatter there. But we're going to talk about, again, both reasons for.
That's what I was going to say. Like I confirmed that a while ago, but then even when Stu Peters put out that tweet, I went frame by frame, showed people like this is not, it's not blood spatter. It's anyway.
And against the theory that he was shot in the back, and for and against again that he was shot in the front of the neck. And I'm going to do my best to address these guys. Again, I had so much coming in. A lifetime is not enough time to address every single one of these. So we also talked about body armor. Candace Owens has dispelled the body armor claim. The bush shooter. Okay, so in this portion of the video, I take a random photo from the internet here, and I put this guy here to show what it would look like if this image had been cleared up, and if in fact there was a person sitting there with a rifle aiming down at Charlie. This is not a depixelated version of what is here. This is not like in the movies when you see like enhance, and it's just like this emerges from this blur. That's just not how photos work. This is something that I got off the internet for reference for you guys. This has nothing to do. This man was never at the crime scene. Neither was this rifle. And a lot of other evidence points to it happening from over here much lower. In fact, if the FBI came out with a convincing story that was actually like somewhat believable, I don't think I would have ever even gone down this path. I'm not a political channel. I talk about guns here on the channel. So it is just impossible to wrap your head around a 30-06 entering right here at the front of the throat, whether it was from an angle of elevation or not. It is so impossible. And I'm going to show you guys this video because this perfectly coincidentally lined up with my timeline today. So I'm going to show you guys this video right here, which is exactly what happens when a 30-06 enters a ballistic gelatin head.
So today,
see this, like, I understand where he's trying to come from, but it really kind of like frustrates me that they're trying to use a gelatin head in order to reproduce what happened to Charlie Kirk. And so I'm just going to get into Grok, and then I'm going to show you a video of a deer even at closer range and not on an angle, getting shot by a 30-06. Again, I don't like watching these videos or sharing these videos at all, but because so many millions of people are sharing this information, and a lot of people too that have a background in law enforcement or military, etc., that are doing their own investigations, like let's look at that piece too, right? So they're, oh yeah, I've been shown that video a few times, like that clip, and so I just want to share. And again, this is Grok, so not entirely accurate. Like I've said before, it's been wrong multiple times before. You have to like further unpack information. But okay, so it looked like it was one of the ones like more used by the FBI. Some of these gelatin heads, like they don't even have any skull or bone replicating within the frame. But anyways, ballistic gelatin heads are widely used in forensic and ballistic testing to simulate human tissue, but their accuracy in replicating a human neck and skull for head and neck shots is limited due to the complex anatomy of these regions. Below, I evaluate their effectiveness, drawing on scientific studies, forensic research, and industry standards. And Grok adds in other things that don't relate, but from previous conversations, so we're just going to remove that. So the composition, ballistic gelatin is typically 10 or 20% ordnance gelatin, calibrated to FBI standards, designed to mimic the density and viscosity of human soft tissue, example muscle and fat, at a density of 1 g per centimeters cubed. Purpose, used to test bullet penetration, expansion, and energy transfer in a standardized medium, often for firearms and ammunition evaluation. Yeah, that's fair. Common form, gelatin blocks or molded shapes, example heads, torsos, to simulate human anatomy. Simulating human neck and skull. The human head and neck are complex, with bones, skull, cervical vertebrae, soft tissues, muscle, fat, skin, cartilage, blood vessels, and nerves, each with unique biomechanical properties. Ballistic gelatin heads aim to replicate these, but have limitations. So skull, we'll talk about the skull, even though, again, it wasn't a headshot, but human anatomy, the skull is rigid, layered structure, cortical and cancellous bone, 7 to 10 millimeters thick in adults with varying densities. It resists bullet penetration differently than soft tissue. Ballistic gelatin heads. Basic gelatin heads, example clear ballistics, are soft tissue simulants lacking bone. Advanced models is the example Sinbone or Bone Sim. I don't know what this guy was using, but he was likely using one of these or similar to the Sinbone or Bone Sim, which is an advanced model, because you did see the skull within the gelatin mold and some, anyways, incorporates synthetic bone, polyurethane, to mimic cranial bone density and thickness, but these are simplified. Uniform density, no sutures or marrow. Accuracy. Gelatin alone is inaccurate for skull shots. Again, this is not a skull shot, but I'm just reading. As it doesn't replicate bone resistance or fragmentation. Example, a 9mm bullet may penetrate gelatin easily, but be deflected by bone. Synthetic bone models improve accuracy, approximately 89 to 90% correlation to human bone in penetration tests, but miss complex fracture patterns. Neck. Human anatomy. The neck includes soft tissue, muscle fat, cervical vertebrae, spinal cord, and major vessels. Example, the carotid artery. Bullets may interact differently with each. Example, bone deflection, tissue cavitation. Ballistic gelatin heads. Gelatin mimics soft tissue well. Example, muscle penetration depth, 95% correlation to human tissue for handgun rounds. Some models include synthetic vertebrae, but they lack nerves, blood vessels, or layered tissue variation. So the vertebrae, which is where they said it might have went down through multiple vertebrae. Again, I have not seen the autopsy report. They're not releasing it. I'm just going off of explanations that have been given from people that are within the government. And do we trust the government? Anyway, I don't know. But less so for vertebrae or vascular damage. Okay, so gelatin is reasonably accurate for soft tissue in the neck, bullet expansion, temporary cavity, but less so for vertebrae or vascular damage. Synthetic bone adds realism, but oversimplifies spinal complexity. Testing standards, and again, I don't know what standard this guy was using. It was mold, but FBI protocols use 10% gelatin to simulate soft tissue, validated for penetration depth 12 to 18 inches for 9mm. Again, this is not, this is a 5.56 round. No, 5.56, sorry, it's a 9mm, 5.56. These are lower caliber than 7.62. Brain fart. Okay, I'm gonna have some more coffee. Head models with synthetic skull, example, sin bone, are used in forensic studies with showing 85% accuracy for bullet trajectory, but less for bone fragmentation or brain injury. Okay, so bone simplification. Synthetic skulls lack the layered structure, diplo sutures of human bone, underestimating fracture complexity. Real skulls may deflect bullets. Okay, soft tissue variability. Gelatin assumes uniform density, unlike the next layered tissues. Skin, muscle, fat. It doesn't replicate blood flow or nerve damage. Okay, so missing neurological injury patterns critical for head neck shots. Human tissue responds dynamically, muscle contraction, blood pressure. Gelatin is static, reducing realism for wound cavitation. Okay, so for soft tissue in the neck. Ballistic gelatin is highly accurate, 90 to 95% for soft tissue penetration and bullet expansion in the neck per FBI and forensic studies. It's less accurate for vascular or nerve damage. Neck with vertebrae. Gelatin with synthetic vertebrae is they're saying it's moderately accurate for soft tissue and bone interaction, but misses spinal cord or vessel complexity. So I just want people to take a look at that. Overall, ballistic gelatin heads are useful but limited. They're best for soft tissue. And again, like if it hit his spinal cord, his vertebrae, and went down, this is different. It's different. And they don't fully replicate human anatomy's complexity. Okay, let's see what else here. Okay, so then I wanted to look at like similar videos. I haven't found any similar videos of any neck shots to a doe or deer that were within the range that or within the angle degree that Tyler Robertson was shooting. It was approximately anywhere between 150 to 200 yards, anywhere between 120 to 140 meters in distance, with an angle being on the roof. And so I think I already showed one. I don't like sharing these videos, but I do because I think it's necessary. Okay, so deer hunting with a rifle, 2021 big doe neck shot with a 30-06 Ruger. So that was with a Ruger, 30-06. Okay, let's see here. We'll go with sound off first. warning in advance that the deer is going to get shot. So if you don't want to look at that, I totally respect that. I understand that. And then so just move on.
Meh. Meh.
I'll go slow-mo. Did his head blow off? Or hers, rather? No. I hate showing this because I can, again, like, I think hunting is necessary, but it shouldn't be glorified or anyway. Just make sure I go a little slower. Again, I don't like showing the death of animals, but hunting is, it's life for a lot of people, so. Okay, did you see that? That's a 30-06 Ruger. And this is at closer proximity and not at the same angle. So there would actually be even more of a force felt. And so I'm just going to go back again. After being shot. Right after being shot, unfortunately. And then again. So, take that for what it's worth. There's multiple videos out there, and again, this is not even giving like the most accurate distance and angle, but it's showing you that like people are saying, oh, his head would have blown off, all this shit. Like, it's like, respectfully, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And this is an important event to analyze and unpack. And so I would just wish that like the record would get more straight and not people just dismiss key information just because you don't want to hear it. But anyway, so I'll keep this playing because again, this is not a hate on for anyone. And I could be wrong.
Firearms. We're going to be showing you what a 30-06 does to a ballistics gel skull.
And before people call bullshit on this video,
and he said ballistic gel skull because he's not even giving the proper model.
This video was produced
proper model. He's not even giving the model
5 years ago. So this guy had no idea how relevant his video would be today. In fact, a lot of the comments are like talking.
It's not relevant today.
About how this dude disproved the FBI's claims before they were even made public. So, anyways, big shout out to these guys. What is this? What's the name of this channel here? Dual Liberty Firearms. There you go. Absolutely smoked. Very similar looking bolt action rifle to the one the FBI claimed was used. You can see very clearly what happens when a 30-06 enters soft tissue. So if they want you to believe that Charlie Kirk was the man of steel and this was a miracle, that God stopped that bullet and it was just under his skin, show us the bullet. Show us the autopsy, guys. Show everybody the proof that makes us say, you know what? Case closed. That crazy 22-year-old did it. I want to see that. I don't want to believe in this grand conspiracy that our government has the capability to do this or to turn the other way when somebody else's government does it. Not implying anything. I don't know anything at all. Again, the more I learn about this case, the weirder things get. This is what happens to a human head that has, and ballistics gelatin is not 1 for 1. Obviously, this is as close as we can get, but you can see what happens.
The head that had literally blown the head to pieces. There was not much blown the head to pieces.
Let's see if we can just pause that. Right there, guys. If he got hit in the side of the neck,
like just like I'm just mind blown how people would actually think that this is how a 30-06 would impact. Anyway, I just showed you the video of the deer.
What was stopping his neck from blowing out? That even just one side. Let alone an exit wound. Let alone an exit wound. People who are talking crap in my comment section, my other video, saying that I'm a I'm a product of the left. Like I'm trying to get this guy off. I got no dog in this fight. The truth is the only thing I'm after. And again, I'm more than willing to admit when I'm wrong if new evidence comes out that is convincing enough. But the more time that goes by, the more it seems like this evidence is very convenient. Like the screwdriver, for instance. They claim that Tyler Robinson assembled and disassembled his gun and then to get it up there, then assembled it to take the shot, and then disassembled it to leave, and then reassembled it in the force, but he left the screwdriver on the roof. So how did he reassemble it in the force? Again, the story is beyond belief. Let's just put it that way. That's why we are out here. That's why that video resonated with so many people. You could point to one thing and say, oh, he was wrong about that. I'm just simply pointing out the thing that looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it might be a duck. That's all I'm saying. So let's get back to my video where we're going to debunk or offer the other side of the story. So we've already addressed the Bushman, the Bush shooter.
Oh, and I just want to put this to bed too if people are going to say that, oh, it might have been a different round used. So the round that shot the deer, I said it was a 30-06, but it was a Ruger. Okay, so Ruger rifle in 30-06 Springfield, similar to Tyler Robinson's round. Yes, a round from a Ruger rifle chambered in a 30-06 Springfield is identical to the round used by Tyler Robinson in the Charlie Kirk shooting on September 10th, 2025. Robinson used a Mauser Model 98 bolt-action rifle in 30-06 Springfield, a cartridge developed in 1906 for U.S. military use and popular for hunting. Ruger produces several 30-06 models, example Ruger American Rifle, number 1A, guide gun, all firing the same 30-06 Springfield cartridge, example 150 to 180 grain soft point or full metal jackets. Standardized, so a Ruger 30-06 round matches Robinson's exactly regardless of the rifle. And there was 4 rounds found, which also leads me to believe was possibly a hunting rifle, which with max capacity of a magazine is 5 rounds. Is a Ruger 30-06 round a soft point? Yes, a Ruger rifle chambered in a 30-06 Springfield can fire soft point rounds, as the 30-06 cartridge is available in various bullet types, including soft point, which is commonly used for hunting due to its expansion and tissue damage. In the context of the Charlie Kirk shooting, Tyler Robinson used a Mauser Model 98, used the exact bullet. It isn't explicitly confirmed in report, so that's why I'm saying we don't know if it's like a soft point, if it's FMJ. Anyway. With sources suggesting a soft point bullet based on the wound profile, catastrophic neck hemorrhage, no exit wound. Since Ruger rifles, example Ruger Americans chambered in 30-06 rounds, fire the same standardized cartridge as Robinson's Mauser, a Ruger could fire an identical soft point round, Remington core locked 165 grain or soft point Winchester power. Anyway, producing similar ballistics. Soft point rounds expand on impact, matching Kirk's injury, severed carotid artery, jugular vein, bullet lodging beneath the skin. So anyways, just more to think about. I'm not trying to shit on this guy's video at all, by the way. Like, he seems like a solid guy. He's giving good information. I just think that we're just coming to different conclusions based on the same information. This is the bush. People have, like, I've gotten so many fucking messages about people saying that this was a guy in a bush. Like, look at the bush. This is a clearer version of that bush. And so he's sharing it now, thankfully. So again, hopefully this will dispel a lot of the conspiracy theories on this. But look at this.
Okay. At the moment I had seen it, that looked a little convincing. Now I do have my photos pulled up here, and this is a picture. I want to give credit where credit's due. John Cullen said, resolution matters, problem solved. Yeah, but is this the exact same photo from the exact same front? Again, I'm not even saying that the Bushman was the guy who shot him. It doesn't appear that it would line up perfectly, or at least ideally for that situation. It would line up, but not perfect. But again, like, what do you think the shooter's just going to be hanging out there? That's not my hill to die on. I don't care if it was the Bushman or not. I care more about what happened in truth. So if this disproves the Bush theory, fine, so be it. Do I still think it was probably from his back?
Can we put it to death now, this Bush theory, please, people? Because I've gotten like at least a dozen people that have reached out saying that I need to look at that. I did, respectfully speaking, and like, anyway.
Right? Yes. So let's go back to the video. In this footage, shot in the back, we can see, again, what I originally thought was blood splatter. This is most likely his necklace snapping. It flies up in the front. This is most likely his necklace right here as well. It flies up, probably snaps around this area somewhere. This side comes up and over and back as Charlie falls to his left. That's another thing. Everyone's like, he got shot in the front.
Well, why would the necklace break from the front if he was shot in the back and it hit the necklace? Wouldn't the necklace go forward? That's, again, another argument for this. It went back, not forward.
Fell straight back. He didn't fall straight back, guys.
And yes, he didn't fall straight back, but he fell like this. the head goes forward a little bit when you're getting pushed back. And so, and again, there's no exit wound, there's no blood spatter, there's no proof. Candace Owens, I didn't see this video, so again, I have to go off of her, what she's sharing. But regarding that, the video that of the security footage from behind, she's saying that she watched it repeatedly. It has not been aired yet or released, but apparently it shows that there's no exit wound as well. And so it lines up with so many different videos that I've seen from like different angles and things like that. And so I do believe her on that.
I want to show you this footage real quick. This is my buddy's video once again, and he shows this footage right here. I'll blur whatever's necessary, but you will see the trajectory, the direction that Charlie's body goes in. It does make sense. Getting hit in the back of the skull right here. Charlie is struck, and then he falls in the direction.
This is when people want to see what they want to see. I'm going to go slower.
Getting hit in the back of the skull right here. Charlie is...
Does that look like he got shot in the back of the skull? Does it look like his head's going down that way? Or does it look like he's getting shot from the front? Over to you guys if you're taking a look at this. It does not look to me at all that this is a rear shot.
Struck.
Why would he be going back like that if it was a rear shot? Look at that. And I hate showing this again because it's unfortunate, because this guy lost his life and he did not deserve it. This guy could have been an incredible president someday. And some fucking radical just like ruined that for him.
And then he falls in the direction.
Falls in the direction that he would be falling if it was a front shot. He's not, this is what I mean. Like, am I not seeing things clearly with my own eyes? Like, what do you guys think?
That he was shot. Yeah, now he does lean back, right? I mean, but a bullet whizzing through your head and neck that quickly, especially something which it was probably, and we're getting ahead of ourselves.
He's clearly never seen someone get shot.
Here. It was probably a suppressed.
Maybe he has, but I'm not buying it.
5.56 round, if I had to guess. It was probably a 55 grain full metal jacket, judging by the small size of the...
Yeah, and there are people that are trying to say that it was a smaller caliber, like for small game ammunition and firearms, not used for self-defense or for larger game. They're for, and so anyway,
the exit wound on the front of his neck, assuming it's an exit wound, right? Allegedly an exit wound. That 55 grain bullet's not displacing much tissue, and it's not a heavy projectile in and of itself. So here you have a guy who understands the audio from all of these different camera angles, all of these different individuals who were filming the event, and using science to time exactly when that device registered the sound, and then circulating that back to one location and triangulating it pretty much based off of that audio. And all of it points back to this area where the Bushman was. Now, is that definitive? No, but again, it's just another piece of information pointing in that direction of the gunshot coming from. And he simply says, even at the maximum error margin, a shot from the rooftop simply does not match the audio. So there you have it, just another piece of information pointing in the direction of the back right of Charlie. Now let's go back to the original topic, the main video that I put out, the main theory that I was...
So this guy from Valhalla VFT, I like a lot of his work too. But I'm getting shared multiple videos from his channel as well that I respectfully am debunking. And again, I could be wrong too, but I don't think so.
Discussing. I want to give Valhalla VFT a huge shout out on this because I think his analysis was perfect. He talked about the new information from Jesse on Fire, that new angle. And he also brought up my video and talked about how this does not completely debunk this angle, right? He also brought up the audio engineers triangulating and figuring out that the shot most likely came from that back right, near the Bushman, near that area somewhere over there. And also he pointed out that the entrance wound typically does not bleed, especially not right away. So what I originally thought was blood splatter is in fact Charlie's necklace does not 100% negate the theory that he was shot from his back right.
Yes, it does.
In fact, it kind of verifies it even more, because if it's not blood, there's a more of a higher likelihood that it's actually an entrance wound, because again, entrance wounds don't bleed the way that we saw the front of Charlie's neck bleeding. Okay?
Yes, they do.
So if Charlie is hit right here in his hairline, where we're kind of alleging he's hit, you wouldn't be able to see it from this grainy.
Especially like in the neck, where like major veins are.
Even this new footage from Jesse on Fire, it's way too grainy to
Major
tell
arteries.
if there's a small 223 entrance hole, because again, the hole would only be the size, the diameter of the bullet, even smaller sometimes, because again, the skin and the tissue is going to kind of seal back up over itself. Not completely, but enough to be slightly smaller than the diameter of the bullet that entered, okay? So again, I want to give a big shout out to Valhalla VFT for talking about this in a very objective way. So the next thing I want to discuss is Charlie's hair jolting forward. I said that because he was hitting the back of the head, his head kind of moved forward very quickly. His
head moved forward because he was shot from the front, and that's just basic body response to that impact.
Lying at rest, and then it had been, it kind of had needed to catch up, and so you can see that clearly. And when his head jolts forward like that, you can see his head jolting forward from being struck from the back. Could this be explained?
See, we're looking at the same video and we're coming to drastically different conclusions. I'm just gonna rewind this again.
And so you can see that clearly. And when his head jolts forward like that, you can
look at that. We're seeing the hair.
You can see his head jolting forward from.
I was smoking a cigar. Shot in the neck. If he was shot from behind, it would be like a. If that makes any sense. None of this. Oh, man. Okay, keeping up.
Being struck from the back. Could this be explained by a throat shot? I don't see it quite that easy. If he had been hit in the chest, I could see his chest going backwards and therefore his head going forward. But you can see very clearly Charlie's head snaps down and to his left. Could that be explained by the shot in the throat?
Yep.
Yeah, it could. So
yeah, it could.
There you go. There's me playing devil's advocate for you guys. I still think it points more to him getting shot in the back right side of his head, but it is possible. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the exit wound and the skin being pulled right here that I see. So a lot of people were trying to explain this as like the shirt was folded weird or the shirt was creased or something like that. But as you can see in the footage here, there is a black spot right there that then corresponds with a black spot on Charlie's shirt directly after the bullet exits, allegedly. So right there you can see it. You can see the exit wound and then either a blood stain or a hole in the shirt from the bullet pulling through. This is one of the biggest arguments against my video as well, in stating that you would not be able to see the projectile because the frame rate of an iPhone is 30 frames per second. Now, anybody who uses an iPhone knows that new iPhones have incredibly good cameras. Now, they're not high-speed cameras that can catch bullets flying, typically. But when a bullet strikes tissue and slows down to the point where it has to travel from here to here, it's going to slow down significantly. And I believe that what we saw, his skin stretching, may not even have been the bullet. It may have been the bullet already passed through and exited through his shirt or just above his shirt and continued traveling on. It may have very well been his skin just hadn't had time to retract yet. Because as we all know, when you watch high-speed footage of shooting through something soft or elastic, you see it stretch, and then after the projectile passes through, then it starts to retract. But it lags behind the projectile slightly. So we could have caught just his skin after the bullet had already passed through. I'm not saying we caught the bullet right as it was about to poke out of his skin. I'm just saying it's a possibility, guys, okay? And to me, all of this is looking like the most possible scenario, as many of you guys agree, right? Because the video wouldn't have done as well as it did if most of the people didn't actually agree with what was being said. It makes the most sense. I'm just asking you to believe what your eyes are showing you, right? I'm just putting it all together in a cohesive way, and you guys all agree that that is probably the most likely scenario, right? And I do as well. But I'm not married to this idea. Again, if I see new information, I will correct the narrative. So another thing I want to address is the angle of the shot. So I show this arrow here as far as the bullet trajectory. This was just the simplest, most direct line from entry to the exit. But
now he's trying to the imaginary angle, like he's already confirmed. Yeah, this is exactly where he was shot. No proof at all, and it's just based on like cherry picking to try to like push his own. He's reinforcing his own bias.
Most likely, this angle of bullet is sitting up here in the tent somewhere. You would not be able to actually shoot Charlie or actually see him to shoot him, and I don't believe he was shot blindly through the tent. So most likely the trajectory is much flatter like this coming in from.
And that's another good point. Where he was located and the obstruction because of the tent and the and all of that stuff as well.
The side, and it hit his skull. And as everybody's been saying, to explain the magic bullet of 2025, that it stopped at his spine, the Man of Steel. Bullets do weird things when they enter flesh. So let me stop for a moment and pause and say, is it possible it stopped at his vertebrae? 1 in a million. I'm not going to say that because I would just be saying that to cover my own ass and say, oh, well, anything's possible. Yeah, anything is possible with the power of God. But in this case, ballistics don't lie. I believe the bullet probably came in from below the tarp of the tent, from this angle, struck Charlie, and then did some weird things. Probably struck him right around here, around the base of his hairline. So it's much more likely the bullet came in from this trajectory here, hit the base of his hairline, hit the base of his...
Where's the blood splatter? Where's the proof? Where's any impact to his skull? Like, again, this is just, to me, a little... I know I keep on pausing this video. I shouldn't get so fired up, but anyway.
Stem and spinal column, causing him to tense up, causing his head to go down and to the left, and then kind of moved its way down here and exited out the front here. So that is much more likely. I put this here to kind of show the like for people who don't understand what bullets do when they hit things.
Yeah, thanks.
The simplest way to understand that is just, okay, straight through. But it's most likely his tent was above there. So
yeah,
no one would have had the vantage point to actually hit him from that angle. It was most likely a much more flat, I wouldn't say much flatter, but a flatter trajectory, because you'd have to see what you're shooting at. I don't think someone took a blind shot through a tarp. So with that being said, or the cover of the tent, I believe it was more along the lines of this angle here, somewhere in this ballpark here, and it came in, struck Charlie, and then exited out here in the front. So right here, guys, this is the footage I wanted to show you. So you can see here in this video. Now, could this be anything? Could this be something flying off Charlie? Could this be a piece of flesh, a piece of bone? Yeah, it could be for sure. But it is just curious that it happens right at the moment after Charlie is hit, and you can see that piece coming out of his neck. So you can clearly see something traveling between Charlie's legs that many people are speculating is a projectile. So again, you can see that streak by right there, multiple frames of this video. And I do believe that is most likely the projectile, because it correlates with everything else that we've seen.
Okay.
So it's hard to tell if it's actually closer to the camera. So you can clearly see something traveling between Charlie's legs that many people are speculating is a projectile. So again, you can see that streak by right there. Multiple frames of this video. And I do believe that is most likely the projectile, because it correlates with everything else that we've seen. So it's hard to tell if it's actually closer to the camera than we're seeing, but it does beg the question, why were there pavers installed in the location where Charlie was sitting, like immediately, like the next day after the shooting happened? It's just, again, another piece of information for you guys to take and chew on, and just ask.
It could have been even like a fragment from the necklace. It could have been it could have been so many debris. It could have been other things. It does not look to me like and it would be almost next to impossible to even capture a bullet on a video recording from a phone.
Question: why? If there is any potential, there's a second shooter. If there's any potential, there may be still a projectile in the dirt around where Charlie was sitting. Why in the world are we putting pavers down? The beautification of the campus can wait until the investigation's over. People who say that you cannot catch bullets on an iPhone or at a frame rate of 30 or 60 frames per second, that is just not true, okay? I understand the science behind it,
yeah,
but
so it's like, very, again, like you could possibly catch it. It has to be at like the perfect timing, and it's really next to impossible to be able to record using a phone.
Reality, especially something like this, something moving this slow after it's exited a target, a medium of sorts, a fluid target. We've had plenty of videos you can find online of showing projectiles punching through, whether it be jugs of water or ballistics gel, and you can see them travel on after they pass through the medium. And in this case, I'll show you guys a video. You can see the bullets flying, right? It depends on the angle of the sun. If the bullets just catch it just right, it is certainly possible to see. Now, obviously what people are saying is that the bullet would be a streak, not a dot. Okay. Again, not trying to prove or disprove anything, just another piece of information for you guys. This is a subsonic 300 blackout for your information, traveling approximately 1,000 to 1,050 feet per second. Okay, 220
Yeah, so not a hunting rifle.
grain pill. So you can see it clear as day on a regular camera that I'm filming on right now. It's filming at 60 frames per second. It's not a high-speed camera whatsoever, but I'll show you. Let's see if I can see the POV footage of it. So again, is it possible? Absolutely, it is possible that that bullet was caught on camera. It's also very possible it was not caught on camera. So one last thing I want to cover, guys, is FBI Director Kash Patel put out this tweet, and this was on September 21st, so 3 days ago as of filming this video. He says, as director of the FBI, I'm committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination is thorough and exhaustive, pursuing every lead to its conclusion. So right here, he goes into, we are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the location of where the shot was taken. Okay, so everyone who's asking me, why am I questioning it? Here you have the actual FBI director questioning this as well, okay? The possibility of accomplices, text message confession and related conversations, Discord chats, angle of the shot, and bullet impact. Again, these are all things that we're talking about, and he's coming out and saying the FBI is investigating it as well, which is promising, but when you have things like the medical examiner coming out and saying that he was the man of steel, I kind of lose faith right away, because if that's the official narrative, then my God, we have some problems in this country. So I wanted to take this moment and take this opportunity to thank every single one of you for being here, seeking the truth, seeking justice for Charlie Kirk and for this country, really. I think a lot of us took it personally when they killed him because that could have been any of us, in fact. And assassinating Charlie Kirk was a direct attack on the First Amendment, in my opinion, and that needs to be protected at all costs. But I also want to take a moment to say whoever did it wanted to sow division and distrust and paranoia in our country, make people think.
Whoever did it, Tyler Robinson, I do believe, and again, I could be wrong. Give me more proof, people. Like, just keep these videos coming. I do like and appreciate that people are trying to still look into this. And yeah, I would like to go on podcasts like with Stu Peters or with Redacted or with Candace Owens, with Joe Rogan. I would like to discuss this only because I think that it's relevant. And so, yeah, on that note, I will leave it at that, and I'll keep on looking at more information. I'm going to be gone for a few days, coming back Monday night. So the next time I do a video is probably going to be Tuesday at the earliest, and then on Wednesday I'm leaving again, and I'll be doing a podcast in Montreal with Pat King, unless he looks at my Rumble videos and he's like, okay, you're way too conspiratorial for me. And this is what I mean. Like, people look at my other videos. I'm not saying that there aren't conspiracies out there. I cover so many videos where I'm talking about conspiracies where the government, even at the highest levels, are involved. And yeah, and so I do enjoy a good conspiracy theory. I think this one, it was, yeah, radical extremists. On that note, I will leave it at that, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.